Malaysia tahu, satu dunia tahu grade awak kan. Okay, thank you very much for reminding me. Alright, now to the power of 3 over 2 equals to 7. Okay, guys. I want you to write down everything. Right, tulis sekarang ni. Okay. First method. Okay, this is the first method. So how do we solve this by using the first method? Is by direct differentiation. Okay, differentiate both sides. Let's say we solve this for del z del x lah. I show you one. Del z del x. Find del z del x. So by using the first method, in order to find del z del x, you have to differentiate both sides with respect to x. Okay, differentiate both sides with respect to x. This is the first method. Okay, so now, okay, this is for the case of del z over del x. Kalau del z over del y means you have to differentiate both sides with respect to y lah. Okay, guys, now for this case del z del x, if you use first method, what happened, guys? We will have two variables. Okay, z becomes variable, x also variable. Okay, this is by using the first method. You akan ada dua variables, z dengan x. So hanya y sahaja constant. Alright, only y as the constant. Only y as constant. Okay, so now we will have left hand side. This is left hand side, sebelah kiri, and this is right hand side. Okay, so we have to differentiate both sides. All right, so the notation is like this. Del over del x, differentiate 3x squared plus 5y squared plus 4z squared to the power of 3 over 2 equals to del over del x, differentiate 7, the left hand side. Okay, now differentiating a function with power, we should bring this power to the front, right? We should bring the power of 3 over 2 to the front. So we will have 3 over 2 and then copy everything, 3x squared plus 5y squared plus 4z squared. Okay, now 3 over 2 minus 1, we will get
1 over 2.
Yes, 1 over 2. Okay, and then multiply by differentiate inside the bracket. So we should differentiate what? Which is the variable now?
X and Z.
X and Z. Yes, x and z. Good. So we have to differentiate 3x squared. We will get 6x. And then we also have to differentiate 4z squared. Okay, so differentiate 4z squared. We will have 8z. But if you differentiate z, don't forget to put del z over del x. Okay, kenapa? Why? We have, when we differentiate z, we have the element of del z over del x because, okay, actually for dx, here 6x, kenapa dia tak ada del z over del x? Because in this case, we are differentiating x. Okay, so when we differentiating x means del x over del x. Okay, so del x over del x dia jadi 1, guys. So tak payah letaklah kat tepi tu, buat apa nak letak? Okay, but in this case we have del z over del x sebab kita differentiate z. So that's why we put del z over del x if we differentiate z. Understand? Understand this part?
Yeah. Yes, Doctor.
Okay. Okay, good. So now this is equals to, okay, right hand side, differentiate 7 with respect to x. You should get
0.
0, yes. Okay, we will get 0. Okay, good. We will get 0. So, kalau you bahagikan sebelah sini, whole thing becomes 0 lah. This whole thing becomes 0. Okay, so we just have this part. We just have this part. 6x plus 8z del z over del x. So, 6x plus 8z del z over del x equals to 0. So, del z over del x jadi negative 6x divides by 8z. So you can simplify this. Del z over del x equals to negative 3x over 4z. So that's the answer by using the first method. This is first method. Okay, I will show you the second method. Kaedah kedua, or sometimes we call this as alternative method. The second method is much easier. Okay, much easier. Okay, we call it as alternative method. So I would like to suggest all of my students, okay, it will be advisable for you to use the second method instead of the first method. Unless you are expert enough on differentiation, then you can use the first method. Okay, both method will give you the same marks and the same answer. Jangan risau, dalam test ke final, dalam quiz ke ataupun final exam markah sama je. Right? Second method ni much easier lah. Dia lebih mudah sebab the concept is quite simple. Okay, for the second method, let's say the question asks you to find del z over del x. The formula is like this, equals to negative, don't forget the negative, and then we will have f capital subscript x divided by f subscript z. Dia terbalik, it switch the position. Okay, kalau tadi x ni dekat bawah, sekarang dia jadi dekat atas lah. Okay, dia terbalik macam tu. Senang je formula dia. Okay, we have this. This is for del z over del x. And if the question asks you to find del z over del y, of course dia akan jadi, again, don't forget the negative sign. Letak negative. Of course, we will have fy over fz. Okay, so this is the second formula in the second method. Okay, let's say we solve again the same question. Soalan yang sama kita solve ni by using the second method ni. Okay, tadi kita selesaikan, kita solve guna first method kan. Sekarang kita guna second method. Okay. So first step, okay, solution. Solution, in order to use the second method, untuk kaedah kedua ni, first step dia, you kena buat macam ni. We need to let f, x, y, z as a function. Okay, so we need to let f, x, y, z equals to 3x squared plus 5y squared plus 4z squared to the power of 3 over 2. Okay, what you should do next is you have to move this 7 into the left hand side. You kena movekan 7 ni ke sebelah kiri. So it becomes negative 7 and then you equate this with 0. Okay, secara skemanya, skema jawapan ni, okay, this first step ni akan dapat 1 mark. You buat je macam ni, you dapat 1 markah. Okay, so this is the first step. You kena make sure dia jadi satu baris saja equation tu. Dia jadi satu, you kena pindah to the left hand side lah. You have to rearrange the position. Okay, next. Since this is our f, x, y, z, so in order to find del z, del x, we know already that the formula is negative fx over fz. Okay, so what you should do now is you have to find your fx. Okay, so in previous method, first method tadi tu, okay, if you notice, kita ada dua variable, z variable, x pun variable. Okay, however, in the second method, guys, dalam method yang kedua ni, it depends only on this. Okay, so bila you differentiate with respect to x, means only x yang variable. Okay, so what happened to z dengan y? Y and z becomes constants. That's why dia lebih mudah lah. So you just care about X sahaja sekarang ni. Kalau tadi you kena tengok dua-dua, X dengan Z. But now you just look at one variable, which is X. Okay? So let us solve. Again, the power, we should bring the power to the front. So 3/2. Copy down everything. So 3x squared plus 5y squared plus 4z squared to the power of 3/2 minus 1. So we have 1/2. Okay, now memandangkan X the variable, so we just look at this only. Okay, so multiply with 3x squared becomes 6x. Okay, and then differentiate -7, we get 0. So just stop here, just like that. Okay, and then next we need to find fz. Okay, fz. So now, okay, z as the variable, okay, dia akan jadi di partial derivative yang macam sama topik-topik sebelum ni. It's very simple. So z the variable, x and y are constants. Okay, so what happened here? We will have 3/2 again. Kita nak differentiate terhadap z sekarang ni. So 3x squared plus 5y squared plus 4z squared to the power of 1/2. And then multiply by, we need to differentiate 4z squared. Okay, so differentiate 4z squared, we will have 8z. And then differentiate -7, of course we get 0 lah juga. So settle, that's it. So next, does del z over del x equals to negative fx over fz. So you put negative. Okay guys, if you notice here, the coefficient here and here are the same, right? So atas bagi bawah you boleh cancel lah. So tinggal yang ni saja. Okay, so tinggal 6x divide by 8z. So you will have 3x over, okay, negative. I forgot the negative. 3x over 4z. So that's it. That's the answer. This is how we solve the implicit differentiation by using the second method. Okay? Understand, guys? The second method?
Yes.
Okay, good. So next, let us solve question number 2. This question. Okay, copy. Question 2. Saya tertinggal perkataan long ada long tadi kan? Second, this one. Okay, long. Alright. Okay, you all nak saya tunjuk del z del y ke del z del x? Choose one.
Del Z del Y.
Del z del y. Okay, del z del y. Okay, so now del z del y. Okay, so I will show you the second method lah. Because it is much easier compared to the first method. Okay, so tak payah pening lah guys. Kalau you rasa you nak score betul subjek ni, you ambil yang cara mudah je lah. You terus ambil second method Don't worry, markah sama je. Okay, so now first step kena buat apa kalau pakai second method? First step.
Sama dengan kosong.
Yes, good. We let fx, y, z equals to this function and equate that with 0. 4y squared minus 3x plus 2z cubed minus 5x equals to 0. This is 1 mark. Satu markah buat cara macam ni. Okay. Next, we know that del z over del y, the formula should be negative fy over fz. Okay, negative fy over fz. Dia terbalik position dia. Okay. So, you have to find fy. Okay, so when we differentiate with respect to y, what is the variable? What is the variable?
Y.
Y, yes, Y is the variable. Sorry guys, wait a minute, I have to pick up this call. Wait a minute. Okay, sorry guys, my TDA called me just now. Okay, let's proceed. Okay, Y variable. Okay, good. Y variable. Okay, and then what are the constants? Apa yang jadi constant sekarang ni? Kalau Y itu variable.
X and Z.
Yes, X and Z are the constants. Okay, constants. So differentiate with respect to Y. Okay, before that, let us recall back how to differentiate ln. Ni awan ni maksudnya ingat balik. Ingat balik, recall. Let's say we have a function y equals to ln 3x. So we want to differentiate y prime. How do we solve this? First step kita kena buat apa nak differentiate ln? 1 over 3x, isn't it? Kita kena bahagi ke bawah kan? Ingat lagi tak you all?
Ingat.
Okay, 1 over 3x and then what to do? You kena darabkan dengan apa? Differentiate, right? You have to differentiate this 3x. Yeah, so you have to multiply by 3. Okay, next you can cancel that 3, so it becomes 1 over x, like that. Okay, so kita dah recall balik cara nak differentiate ln. So now we have this function ln panjang ni, this one. So equals to 1 over the whole thing lah. Okay, 1 over 4y squared minus 3x plus 2z squared. Okay, now you kena darabkan dengan what? You kena differentiate apa sekarang ni? You differentiate terhadap y kan? Tadi, ni y variable. So you kena differentiate y lah. So you will get what?
Sorry, madam. 2z cube.
2z cube. Okay, thank you very much. 2z cube. Differentiate 4y squared. You will get
8y.
8y, yes, good, 8y. Okay, so settle. Now, differentiate ni terhadap y dapat apa? Differentiate negative 5x with respect to y, we will get x ni apa x ni? Ni constant kan? So differentiate constant we get?
0.
0, yes, 0. So just leave like this. Sampai situ je, stop. Sebab differentiate constant you got 0. Kalau you cari fx, baru you kena differentiate negative 5 jadi dia. Okay, tapi sekarang ni you differentiate terhadap y. So x jadi constant. Anggap x tu macam satu nombor je. Okay. So next we need to find fz. So fz, now z yang variable. Okay, z yang variable. So again, differentiate ln. Dia ada z dalam tu kan. So 1 over the whole thing jugalah. 4y squared minus 3x plus 2z cube. Okay, now kita nak multiply dengan apa guys? Kita nak differentiate apa sekarang ni pula?
Z.
Yes, we have to differentiate this. So we will get 6z squared. Right? 3 kali 2, 6. So we will get 6z squared. And then again differentiate 5x with respect to z. Of course, now we get 0. So we just have this. Okay. So now we can combine both del z. Therefore, del z over del y equals to negative fy over fz. So we will have negative fy. Okay, negative fy. Okay, better you buat kurungan lah guys. 8y 4y squared minus 3x plus 2z cubed divides by 6z squared over 4y squared minus 3x plus 2z cubed. So this one, the denominator can be cancelled out. Cancel. So your final answer would be equals to negative 8y over 6z squared. Or you can simplify this as negative 4y over 3z squared. Okay, that's it. That's the answer. Understand, guys? The steps?
Yes, Auntie.
Okay, so next. Let's take a look at question number 3. Question number 3 ni. Copy. Question 3. Okay guys, kalau lah misal kata you nak solve implicit differentiation ni, you use the first method. You imagine kalau you guna first method, guys, you nak differentiate Z dengan X ni, Z dengan X ni dengan Z ni, you kena guna product rule tau, sebab dia dua-dua variable. Dah lah guna product rule untuk Z dengan cos ni. Lepas tu dalam ni sendiri pun kena product rule lagi sekali. So maksudnya kalau you pakai first method, you kena guna teknik product rule dalam product rule. 2 kali product rule you kena guna kalau you guna first method. Okay? That's the thrill lah by using the first method. That's why I already mentioned earlier that the second method is much easier. It's more simpler lah, lebih simple kalau guna second method. Okay, so now let us solve this question again by using the second method. Kita buat X lah, lebih menarik. X lebih susah sikit sebab dia banyak X. Y satu je. Okay, so find. Let's say del Z del X, del Z del Y, you boleh, del Z del X, del Z del Y, nanti you boleh buat lah, dia lebih simple. So find del Z del X. Of course, by using the second method, we have negative Fx over Fz. Okay, so first step, again, let Fxyz equals to x squared plus z cos xyz minus 3 equals to 0. So this is your function now. So next we need to find fx. So differentiate this partially with respect to x. Okay, with respect to x, maksudnya sekarang ni x adalah dia punya variable lah. X variable, so the other y and z becomes constants. So you kena anggap y dengan z macam satu nombor sahaja. So mata you sekarang ni fokus pada x je. Okay. So differentiate x squared, we get 2x. Okay, settle. Now differentiate z cos xyz. Agak-agak you kena guna product rule tak? Nak differentiate ni?
Kena.
Kena ke? Kenapa kena?
Tak.
Tak kena, tak perlu pun sebab sekarang ni hanya X yang variable kan? Z tu constant je. You kena anggap Z tu hanyalah satu nombor. Okay? You kena anggap Z tu just a number. So Z is just a number, so we just have Z, copy je balik. Okay? Now differentiate cos. Differentiate cos, we get negative sign. So now yang mana satu perkali dia ni? Perkali untuk X. Perkali untuk X constant, Y dengan Z kan? You anggap Y dengan Z tu macam nombor 10. So where should we bring this constant? Bawa ke mana constant ni? Bawa ke depan kan? Nak differentiate macam biasa guys. Kenapa bela sangat ni? Differentiate cos 10x for example. You nak differentiate cos 10x. So Y prime equals to negative 10 sin 10x kan? Negative 10 tu bawa ke depan kan? Negative 10. 10 tu kan 10 tu constant dia. Anggaplah YZ ni sama status dia macam 10. So 10 tu you bawa ke depan. So YZ tu you bawa ke depan lah. Kenapa jadi negatif? Sebab differentiate cos dapat negative sign. So negative YZ sin XYZ lah. Macam tu. Understand?
Yes.
Okay, so now settle. Dah settle dah, tak payah pakai product rule. Settle dah siap lah differentiate terhadap X untuk term ni. Okay. Next, differentiate negative 3. Of course, we get 0. So, habis sampai situ je. Alright. So, next, differentiate terhadap Fy pula. Okay, differentiate terhadap Fy pula. Apa Fy? Kita bukan nak cari Z dan Y. Okay, differentiate terhadap Z pula. Okay, differentiate terhadap Z. So, Z is the variable. Okay, and then X and Y are constants. Terbaliklah. Awak kena anggap sekarang ni Z yang variable. So, you just assume that X dengan Y tu hanyalah satu nombor. Okay. So, right now, differentiate X squared, of course, we get 0 lah. Sebab dia terhadap Z kan. So, 0. Okay, tambah. Okay, now kita ada Z. Z, kita ada Z. Kita ada Z juga ke dalam ni. So, kena pakai product rule tak sekarang?
Pakai.
Yes, we have to use the product rule. Okay, so saya tulis kat sini Z cos X, Y, Z. Ini product rule. So, ini akan jadi you punya, this one. This is your U and this is your V. Okay, so by using the product rule, we will have U V prime plus V U prime. So let's do this together. Okay, U V prime. So U is your Z. So V prime, differentiate cos X, Y, Z with respect to Z. What are the constant now?
That's why.
Okay, X, Y. So bawa X, Y tu ke depan. Alright, so bawa ke depan. Okay, differentiate cos dapat negatif. So negative X, Y. Sin X, Y, Z. Okay, sin X, Y, Z. Comot sangat saya punya tulisan ni. Macam tu. Okay, so this is actually your U V prime. Okay, ini U, ini V prime. Okay, tambah plus. Plus V U prime. V is cos X, Y, Z. Okay, darabkan dengan U prime. U prime, U prime. U is Z. So differentiate Z, we will get
Satu.
satu, one. Okay, good. We will get one. Good, very good. Okay, so we will have Fz equals to negative XYZ sin XYZ plus cos XYZ. Okay, settle dah. Dah ada dua. Kita dah dapat Fx, dah ada. Kita dah ada Fz. So we can just substitute into the formula. Therefore, del Z over del X equals to negative Fx. Don't forget negative Student biasa dalam final exam dia lupa negatif tu. So negative, buka kurungan 2x minus lah sebab ni minus kan. Minus Z darab dengan YZ. Dia akan jadi minus YZ squared sin XYZ. Okay, divides by your Fz. Fz is negative XYZ sin XYZ plus cos XYZ. So guys, now kalau you nak simplify, you boleh darab masuk lah. You darab je negatif ni dekat dalam ni dengan dalam ni. So you akan dapat final answer would be equals to positive YZ squared sin XYZ minus 2x divides by cos ni bawa ke depan lah sebab dia positif kan. Cos XYZ minus XYZ sin XYZ. Okay, that's it. That's the answer. Understand, guys?
Yes.
Okay. If you look at question number 4, it should be simpler lah. Ni senang sangat ni guys. X kuasa 2 tambah Y kuasa 2 tambah Z kuasa 2. Ini kalau you pakai second method lagi senang. You just let your fxyz equals to x squared plus y squared plus z squared minus 9/25. So bila dia nak tanya slope in x direction means dia nak del z over del x lah. Kalau y direction means dia nak del z over del y. So you just use second formula lah, it's better. Okay, and then after that you can substitute the coordinate x, y and z inside the answer. Okay, so let's take a look at another question. Kita tengok soal tutorial lah pula. Tutorial chapter 3, kita ambil satu soalan chain rule pula. Implicit differentiation. Okay, this one. Question number 18 saya rasa ni. Implicit kan? Yes. Implicit. Okay. So let's take this question. Tutorial chapter 3. Question number 18. For the implicit function given below, find del z over del y. Okay. So again, first step, we let f, x, y, and z equals to ln xy plus cos xy plus x squared z minus x over y plus 1 equals to 0. So that's the first step. Okay, so dia nak cari del z, del y, so kena cari fy lah. So differentiate with respect to y. Okay, differentiate ln xy. We will have 1 over xy. Darabkan dengan differentiate xy terhadap y, you will get
X.
X, yes, good. Because X the constant. So darab dengan X. Okay, so settle. Next, differentiate this cos XY with respect to Y. Coefficient kita apa? Constant kita apa sekarang ni?
X.
X, okay. So X ni, you should bring this X to the front. So differentiate cos dapat negative sign. So dia akan jadi negative X sin XY. Okay, settle. How about this, guys? You kena differentiate tak terhadap Y ni? You dapat apa ni? Yes, you tak perlu pun sebab dia constant. So you dapat 0 actually. Okay, so plus 0. Okay, next. How about this? The last term. Okay, ini kalau you confuse dengan notation pecahan macam ni, you naik atas. You jadikan dia sebagai negative X multiply by Y plus 1 to the power of negative 1. So you nak differentiate sekarang ni, term ni. So what you should do, negative 1 ni bawa ke depan kan? So negative 1 times negative X becomes positive X darab Y plus 1 to the power of negative 1 minus 1 jadi negative 2. And then you differentiate inside this, differentiate Y, we will get 1. Okay, so now bila saya simplifikan Fy ni, okay, yang ni kita boleh cancel. So we will have 1 over Y minus X sin XY. Kenapa saya punya pen? Okay. And then plus X over Y plus 1 squared. Saya buat turun bawah negatif 2 ni. Jadi macam ni lah. Okay, faham tak step ni? Untuk dapatkan Fy, boleh
Boleh.
Okay, good. So next we need to find Fz. So cari Fz pula, differentiate terhadap Z. So ln xy, differentiate with respect to Z, we will get what? Dapat apa? Dapat 0, yes, good. We will get 0 because ln xy just constants, so we get 0. How about this? differentiate cos xy with respect to z, we will get
Also 0.
yes, also 0. Good, we'll get 0. And then how about this? Differentiate x squared z with respect to z, we will get
X square.
dapat x squared. Okay, good, x squared. Okay. How about the last term? Differentiate x plus y over 1 tu. You akan dapat apa kalau differentiate terhadap z?
0, 0.
Yes, so 0. Okay. 0. So fz adalah x squared je. Therefore, siap dah lah. Therefore, del z over del y equals to, don't forget negative. Fy over fz, so we will have a negative, buka kurungan, 1 over y, negative x sine xy, plus x over y plus 1 squared. Okay, over x squared. So you can leave your answer like this. Okay, that's it. All right, so next, subtopic 3.5. Okay, 3.5, this subtopic is very, very important in final exam. Also in your assignment, okay? Topic, extrema or functions of two variables, 3.5. This will come out in final exam, okay? Very important. Okay, in final exam, this topic will have 15 marks at least. Paling kurang, paling cikai pun soalan tu dia mesti 15 markah untuk soalan yang extrema ni. Okay, so please give your full attention and you have to understand the steps in order to find all of the relative extrema lah. So we will have relative relative maximum, relative minimum, and saddle point. So physically, something looks like this. Okay, this is the point of relative maximum. Of course, we have this, and then this is the relative minimum. Okay, guys. And this is the saddle point. Saddle point means the point in between. Okay, contoh, for example, if you have something like this, okay, ni adalah nama di saddle point lah. Titik in between dua maximum tu. Okay, saddle point. Alright, so I will show you step by steps how to find all the relative extrema. Extrema tu plural, extremum tu satu. Okay. All right. So steps. Subtopic 3.5. Extrema. Extrema ni maksudnya plural lah. Kalau extremum satu je. Extrema of functions of two variables. Okay. I will explain the step by steps first. Okay, normally you will be given a function of fxy. Okay, this will be given. Okay, so first step, in order to solve this, first step is you have to find all critical points. Critical points. Okay, which is coordinate lah. Coordinate x dengan y. Okay, coordinate AB. Maksudnya A to x, y to B lah. This is x, this is y. Macam tu. Okay, so how do we find all critical points is by differentiating the x, the f. Okay, you kena cari fx, differentiate your function yang diberi itu terhadap x partially, and then equate the function with 0. So from here, you can have the first equation. Okay, first equation. Next, you have to differentiate the function with respect to y. Okay, differentiate the function with respect to y, and again, you have to equate the equation with 0. So from here, you will get the second equation. Okay, after you have these two equations, you need to solve these two equations simultaneously in order to get the critical points. Okay, you have to solve equation equation 1 and 2 simultaneously. Persamaan serentak. Ikutlah cara macam mana pun. You solve equation first dulu, lepas tu substitute dalam equation second, or solve the second equation and substitute in the first equation. It's up to you. Which one easier? Okay? Alright, so that is the first step. First step is very important, guys. Kalau you salah first step ni, habis bawah markah hilang. Habis dia drag step-step seterusnya. Okay, so very, very important lah step, first step ni. Alright, now second step. Okay, what you should do is you have to find the second order partial derivative, which are f(x)(x), meaning that you kena differentiate lagi sekali you punya fx ni terhadap x. You jangan ambil yang asal, sebab yang asal ni function asal. You kena ambil yang you dah differentiate tu. So differentiate lagi sekali terhadap x. So that's why dia jadi fxx. Okay, and then after that you need to differentiate your fx with respect to y. So cari fxy. After that, okay, daripada fy ni, you kena differentiate your fy again with respect to y. So you akan cari fyy. Okay, so this is the second step. Cari benda ni. Okay, third step. Okay, third step is by using the second derivative test. The second derivative test, ini part penentuan ni, conclusion ni. Derivation pula, derivative test. Okay, we have D. You need to calculate your D. Your D is equivalent to fxx multiplied by fyy minus fxy squared. Okay, fxx multiplied by fyy minus fxy squared. Okay, so from the values of D, we can come up with 4 conclusions. Okay, 4 conclusions. Conclusions ni you kena hafal, guys. You kena hafal sampai final exam. Okay, number 1, if your D is positive, kalau you kira dah substitute critical point tadi tu dalam function fxx, fyy ni, you dapat nilai dia positif, dia besar, greater than 0. So you have to refer to your fxx. If again your fx also positive, then the conclusion should be relative minimum. Okay, relative minimum. And then conclusion number 2, if you calculate your D, again you get greater than 0. However, if your fxx less than 0, okay, you have to check your fxx because D is positive, eh? So the conclusion should be relative maximum. Okay, number 3, if your D less than 0, you kira-kira you dapat negatif, nombor negatif. No need for you to look at your fxx. Straight away you can conclude that it is a saddle point. Okay, and then number 4, if your D equivalent to 0, means no conclusion, tak ada conclusion. Okay, so yang ni you kena hafal ni, 4 benda ni. This 4 case. Okay, so now let's take a look at the exercise. Exercise. You orang tengok belum video YouTube tu yang saya bagi link dekat kelas, dekat group WhatsApp tu? Dah tengok belum? Guys, dah tengok ke YouTube yang saya bagi link tu? Belum lagi? Okay, now you choose which one you nak kita solve dalam kelas ni. Now, right now, please pick one question. Which question? Question number 5. Okay, question number 5. Alright. Salah. Ni. Exercise 3.5. 3.5, question number 5. Siapa yang tak mute tu? Okay. So now, okay, all these questions quite simple, guys. First of all, you just need to expand this so that your calculation should be easier. So you darab, kembangkan dia. Yang ni darab sini, ni darab sini. Okay, so first of all, we need to expand this. So 2x to the power of 4 plus x squared y plus 2x squared y plus y squared. Okay, after that, let us solve this. So 2 kuat x kuasa 4. And then we have x squared. So 3, tak habis lagi ni. 2x, betul lah. So 1 plus 2 sama kan ni? So 3x squared y plus y squared. Okay, so this is our function now. Okay, so first step, find the critical points. So how do we find the critical points? By differentiating fx, okay, with respect to x. So differentiate function kita ni. Okay, mata you sekarang ni, you fokus pada yang ni je. Ni, saya dah simplify ni. So differentiate with respect to x, we will get 8x cubed plus 6x y, isn't it? And then y squared tu jadi 0 lah. So equals to 0. So this is your first equation. Equation number 1. Second, you need to differentiate this function with respect to y. So with respect to y, you kena differentiate yang ni kan? Dengan yang ni, right? Okay, so you will have 3x squared plus 2y equals to 0. Okay, now you nak solve simultaneous equation ni. Which one you nak ambil yang lebih mudah? First or second?
Second.
Second, yes, second. Okay, good. Kita nak ambil yang second equation. So from equation 2, we have 3x squared plus 2y equals to 0. Therefore, y equals to negative 3x squared over 2. Okay. So substitute in equation 1. Kita ada 8x cubed. 8x cubed plus 6x multiplied by y, so y is negative 3x squared over 2 equals to 0. So dia jadi 8x cubed minus 9x cubed, isn't it? Senang lah. Jadi negative x cubed. So x sama lah dengan 0. So of course lah, when x equals to 0, y also, because y equals to this, 3 times 0 dapat 0 lah kan? Y also 0. Oh, senang sangat soal ni guys. So the critical point should be 0 and 0. Dah settle. Lepas tu itu baru first step. Second step. Second step, what you should do is, guys, before saya terlupa, in final exam, normally we will have more than 2 critical points. Okay, ada setengah semester tu kita pernah keluarkan soalan ada 4 critical points. Tapi dalam kes soalan ni ada 1 je. Okay, biasanya dalam final exam, dia akan ada more than 2 critical points. You akan ada 3 ataupun 4. So you kena check lah. Biasanya dia melibatkan kuasa-kuasa tinggi lah, kuasa 4 ke, kuasa 3 ke, question dia macam tu. Alright. So not necessarily only 1 critical point lah. It can be 2, 3 or 4 critical points. Depends on the equations given. Okay, so second step we need to find fxx. So fxx. So fxx ni nak refer daripada mana? Function yang mana satu? Kita kena refer fx ni. Okay, so jangan ambil yang asal. Yang asal adalah f saja. So you kena refer yang fx sebab you nak differentiate second time. Okay, so ambil daripada fx, differentiate 8x cubed. 8x kuasa 3, dia akan jadi 24x squared. So 24 x squared, and then differentiate 6xy with respect to x, we will get dapat apa ni? 6xy differentiate with respect to x, we will get
6y.
6y, yes, very good, 6y. Okay, so plus 6y, all right. So next f, fxy pula. Ni kita kena refer kat mana ni? Nak differentiate terhadap y. So again kita tengok fx lah. Tapi sekarang kita differentiate terhadap y pula. So 8x kuasa 3 dapat 0. 6xy differentiate with respect to y, we will get 6x. Okay. And then differentiate fyy. So differentiate fyy, kita kena refer ni fy ni. So differentiate terhadap y, 3x squared becomes 0. Differentiate 2y becomes 2. So dapatlah 2. Okay, so the third step, calculate your D. Okay, formula D adalah fxx darab fyy tolak fxy kuasa 2. So we will have 6x pula. 24x squared plus 6y multiplied by 2 minus 6x squared. Like this. So we will have 48x squared plus 12y minus 36x squared. So this is your D, guys. Ni function D awak. Okay, so you need to test 0, 0. Coordinate critical point tadi ni. Mana critical point tadi? Ni critical point kita ni tadi. So you kena test lah. So test 0, 0, you substitute the value 48 times 0 plus 12y also 0, 36 times 0. So you will get 0. Oh my god, this is very easy question. So since D equals to 0, that's what's the conclusion. Kena cari fxx tak? Perlu tak tengok fxx?
No.
No need. So no conclusion. Yes.
No conclusion.
The answer is no conclusion. Okay, good. We do one more question. We look at the tutorial lah. Saya susah sikit soalan. Senang sangat yang tu. Extrema. Okay, so let's take a look at question number 27 ni. Ni kuasa 2 simple lah. Yang ni pun kosong-kosong juga ni. Kalau calculate, ini kosong-kosong juga ni. Question number 27 lah kot saya sini. Okay, copy. Question number 27. Okay, tutorial. Chapter 3. Question number 27. Alright. So, okay, jom kita buat cari fx differentiate with respect to x, we get 3x squared minus 3y. So equate this with 0. So this is your first equation, number 1. And then differentiate with respect to y, we will get 3y squared minus 3x equals to 0. So this is the second equation. Okay, so both boleh. You nak ambil first equation boleh, second equation boleh. So let's say I take from the first equation, from equation 1. We have 3x squared minus 3y equals to 0. So 3x squared equals to 3y, therefore y equals to x squared. Okay, so substitute. Now, salin ni guys. Y equals to x squared in equation 2. Okay, so we will have 3y squared, tak boleh lah. 3y, y equals to x, so x squared. Okay, minus 3x equals to 0, like this. Okay, so saya substitutekan x squared tu dalam ni. So jadi kuasa 4 lah. Alright. So 3x to the power of 4 minus 3x equals to 0. So let's say I factor out 3x. So we will have x cubed minus 1 equals to 0. Therefore, 3x equals to 0, and another one is x cubed minus 1 equals to 0. So from here, we have x equals to 0, and we also have x cubed equals to 1. Therefore, x equals to x sama dengan apa?
1.
1, yes. Okay, my question, can x equals to negative 1? Boleh tak kalau saya letak 1 and negative 1? Can?
Not.
No, cannot. Okay, no, cannot. Okay, because negative, because negative 1 cube equals to negative 1, so cannot. Okay, so only this x equals to 1 only. All right, so let us substitute the value since y equals to x squared. So when x equals to 0, y equals to 0 squared. So we have 0. So the coordinate should be 0, 0. And then when x equals to 1, we have y equals to 1 squared. So we have 1. So therefore 1 and 1. So we have two critical points here, guys. So next we need to find fxx. So differentiate again with respect to x. Mana fx tadi? Saya kata apa? Tengok pada fx. Okay, ni fx. Differentiate lagi sekali terhadap x. You akan dapat 6x. So we get 6x. Differentiate again with respect to y. Refer to the same thing. Differentiate with respect to y, we get negative 3. Okay, so negative 3. And then differentiate fyy. Now you have to refer to your fy. Sekarang baru refer pada fy. Refer pada fy ni. So differentiate fy again with respect to y, we will get 6y. Okay, so 6y. So next step is calculate your d. Alright guys, fxx multiplied by fyy minus fxy squared. So we will have 6x multiplied by 6y tolak negative 3 squared. So we will have 36 xy minus 9. This is your d. Okay, so we need to test. Test the first coordinate 0, 0. So test 0, 0, you calculate your d, 36 times 0 minus 9. So you get d equals to negative 9. So do we need to check with fxx? Perlu check tak?
No.
No, okay, because we get negative, less than 0. So automatically, what's the conclusion, guys?
No conclusion.
No conclusion, no. This
Saddle point.
Saddle point.
Yes, good. Saddle point. Okay, so we will get a saddle point. Very good. You can hafal tau, empat conclusion tu. Saddle point. Okay, and then next we test the second critical point. Kita test yang ni pula. 1, 1. Tadi kita dah test 0, 0. Now we test 1, 1. So test 1 and 1. Calculate your d. D is 36 times x is 1, y also 1 minus 9. 36 minus 9, so we will get 27, isn't it? So 27, d is positive. So what happened when d positive? We should double check with
Check with fxx.
you kena cari fxx. Fxx apa? Fxx equals to 6x. Equals to 6x. So fxx equals to 6x. 6x, x is 1, so equals to 6. Okay? So again, fxx also greater than 0. So what happened when both d and fxx greater than 0? What's the conclusion?
Relative minimum.
Yes, very good. Relative minimum. Well done. Relative minimum. Okay, that's it. That's the answer. So understand, guys?
Yes, madam.
Yes.
Okay, so very
Yeah.
good. I think that's all for today. Thank you very much. You can do the rest of the question exercise and also the tutorial. If you have any problem, you can text me personally. Okay? So thank you very much, guys. You can dismiss the class.
Thank you. Thank you, madam.
Thank you, Dokter.
Welcome.
Thank you,
Welcome.
Dokter.
Thank you, Doctor.
Welcome.